Hey there, and thanks for joining us. This is GamePoints, a weekly get-together when we talk about the previous weeks in news. I am, as always, your host, Stephen Brown. Down to the left there is our esports commentator, Sean Brown, and across from him is David Smith. Say hi, David.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us. If you're watching us live on Twitch, feel free to participate in the chat. If you're watching us on YouTube, hey, how you doing? A couple days later, probably. Feel free to comment in the comment section down below, whatever the hell they call that, the comment box. First off, I'm going to go ahead and address this right now. This is somewhat breaking, which is why I don't have anything on it. It hasn't been necessarily confirmed yet, so I didn't want to give it too much validity. But rumor is that Black Ops 2 has been very recently updated with a bunch of QR codes everywhere that might be teasing the next Black Ops game. Call of Duty Black Ops, of course. Have you guys heard about that yet?
I'm so shocked they're going to make another Black Ops game.
I can see that look on your face, man.
Like
that
a
is
brand new
intense.
one that I could play with my friends.
David, you need to calm down.
I don't give a fuck about that at all.
You know the best part of Black Ops 2 was?
The ending?
The fact that Trent Reznor did the soundtrack and nothing else.
I guess.
I like the part where I didn't.
Yeah, take that.
Take
Activision.
That. Yeah.
Yeah,
Take that with
Show
all
you
your
what we
piles
think
of
about
money,
Black Ops. That's
yeah, man.
your ridiculous sales, your
Anyways.
legions of followers.
I just wanted to go ahead and address that right out the gate. This is information coming out about an hour ago, so I didn't have any time to prep for it or anything like that. I'm sure we'll have more information for next week's show, but right now it's not even verified yet, so just take it with a grain of salt if you're watching this on another date. If not, then I called it way in advance.
Wow. We just calling stuff? We calling.
Wait, what part did you call that? Yeah, did you call that they're making a Call of Duty game? Because I'm going to make a bold prediction right now that they're going to make an Assassin's Creed game next year.
I predict
There's
that
one
EA
this
will
year.
make another sports.
Yeah, but I'm calling it for
year.
next year.
One thing that is while we're talking about Call of Duty, one thing that is a bit odd is that they actually haven't announced the Call of Duty 2015 yet. Like, there is one coming out this year. They've said that, but there's been no information on it. Like, this time last year, we already knew the name and that Kevin Spacey was going to be in it and what the idea behind it is.
Well, maybe they're just going to be more sneaky
sure
about it.
I could have sworn we knew that by February. Didn't we?
Did we? We heard about it, and then it was released like 6 months later. Isn't that how they do it? Because they only have like an 8-month development cycle.
Well, they have two teams working on it.
Yeah, they have a 2-year development cycle. That's why.
Yeah.
That's why historically
all the same assets.
I take that back. It's 3 teams
fast.
now. It's what's left of Infinity Ward. It's Sledgehammer Games, and it's Triarch.
Well, Infinity Ward and Sledgehammer Games are to work on together.
But doesn't Sledgehammer do its own thing as well?
I don't think so.
Well, I know they're used for breaking stuff.
Because you can use a game to smash things open. I get it.
This is the hammer.
Yeah. The hammer's...
Once again, before we get into news, though, too, have you guys noticed how there's been a recent stream of just excellent releases the past week and two? I mean, you've had Bloodborne, Axiom Verge, Pillars of Eternity. Like, it's like a little mini Christmas. At least for me it is, anyways. I don't know if you guys were... Mini Christmas.
I really do want to play Bloodborne, but it's one of those things that I don't want to pay $60 for.
You don't want to get Punch to the Nut Simulator 2015 for $60? That's a steal.
Punch to the Nut Simulator? I feel like you are downplaying that a little bit.
And the fact that you still have the junk.
Yeah.
But Bloodborne, the collector's edition Bloodborne came with this little guillotine that's like a perfect size for most people's junk to stick in. It just cuts it right off.
Swing, swing.
It's like the French Revolution in your pants.
Okay, moving on to this week in news.
Let them eat cake.
Starting today, Starting today, Square Enix started to reveal what is some kind of new game. I really don't even know what's going on with it yet. But if you go to the Twitch site, twitch.tv, and you look up Can't Kill Progress, you see...
Can't Kill Progress, Eva.
Yeah, I know. Thank you.
We
Can't Kill Progress. And it's just been this nonstop since 10 a.m. on Monday stream of this poor... I mean, it's on a loop. It's clearly pre-filmed. But it's this poor son of a bitch in essentially a prison cell. Here, let me bring up a picture of it here. Getting interrogated left and right. And, like, people will come in, beat the crap out of him, ask him questions, and then leave. And then it'll just be him for, like, 4 hours, and they'll come back again. It's clearly some kind of alternate reality game. It has shades of Deus Ex all over it. In fact, some of the people that walked in had full-on cybernetic arms, and since it's Square Enix doing it, I can't see anything but that. Have you guys had a chance to look at it yet?
Sean, game prediction. What is this if not Deus Ex?
What is this if not Deus Ex? Well, it's Square Enix, so it's not Final Fantasy VII because they don't like money. I don't know. Last time they did something like this, it was a new IP. It was Murder Soul Suspect. So I really
this
can't
is far more
give a
elaborate
guess.
than even that, though. This is like seriously, but it has to be an established IP. Has to be.
True, but that was the last time they did some kind of arc. So yeah, I don't know. To be honest, I wasn't even thinking Deus Ex until Steven said it, and then I was like, oh yeah, that kind of makes sense.
Deus Ex.
Yep. I'm assuming it's not.
What else do you have to say?
Well, the main thing is supposedly it's going to be a Western game, right?
Like as in Cowboys or as in from America?
As in from America.
Okay, because you said Western game, and for
one and the
that
same,
didn't
Steven.
Click. I was thinking like a Red Dead Revolver. I'm like, there's nothing to do with that here unless they're doing like an Assassin's Creed thing, and he's like living the past.
A Square-made cyberpunk Western. Do it. Bring it on.
Square's not doing it, but CD Projekt Red is doing Cyberpunk 2077, and that looks fantastic, and it could have a lot of Western themes to it, oddly enough, from what I'm hearing. I know that doesn't quite sound like it goes together, but hey, Westerns and Millennium Falcon gave us Firefly, so...
Every time I think of Cyberpunk, I think of Razor and the other dude from Hackers. The Razor is the only important one to remember.
Razor? Which one was Razor and Hackers?
Those two hackers that like had their own TV show that everyone looked up
to. It wasn't Razor and Blade, was it?
It might be like Razor and Switch or something. I can't remember.
The two guys who hosted the Hack the Planet TV show.
Yeah.
No, it should be Razor and Blade.
Is it Razor and Blade?
Should be Razor and Blade.
People in the chat, go look for Razor and Blade. Find out if that's their names or not, and let us know before the show's over with.
Every time I think of Cyberpunk, that's the first image that erases. And then like they have that gun lighter that like comes in.
We're gonna go ahead and just leave that conversation there because I think we've run that to the ground.
I think we can keep this trend up and we can manage to talk about Hackers at least a little bit every show for no fucking reason.
You know who was in Hackers though?
We're 3 for 3.
Penn Jillette.
It's true. Penn Jillette was in Hackers. He was the security guard that worked as like the counter hacker to protect the Gibson.
Mr. the Plague.
We're actually just gonna stop talking about games right now. This is where we change the banners and change the name of everything to
this is the Johnny Lee Miller
Hacker
podcast.
Points PC podcast.
How do you feel about his role in Sleepy Hollow? Oh shit, that was Casper Van Dien, wasn't it?
That was Casper Van Dien.
Yeah, dude, you suck.
Oh well, moving on.
Shit.
I know someone in chat's going to appreciate this. Life of Cinema, this one's just for you. We have an announcement of the Star Wars Battlefront trailer. It's coming. That's right, an announcement of an announcement, which, I mean, that just is the big thing right now.
That's like the next best thing
but,
to an announcement. And announcements are, like, pretty sweet.
We need that button from Inception lined up for shit like this when it happens.
The boom.
The boom.
On the EA Star Wars blog, StarWars.ea.com, blog post essentially saying, here we go, the team at DICE is zeroing in on the final details of our appearance at Star Wars Celebration, and we're ready to make good on our promise to reveal more details around Star Wars Battlefront. Long story short, they're going to be hosting a Palorant celebration on April 17th at 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and that is where they were to debut the official reveal for Star Wars Battlefront. Now, one thing that's cool, too, though, is that they're actually going to have a chance they're going to be showing off gameplay behind closed doors. So that's not going to be made available to the public, but it is in a state where they're willing to show it what it looks like off to people.
Hey, road trip to Anaheim.
Yeah, man, that's not only like 28. I don't know.
But it's
probably
next weekend. We could crash it. We could show up with media badges that I could print from a printer and put them in some kind of laminated thing and say we represent the very important Hacker Points podcast, and we're here to review your pre-footage of this game that we're going to play.
We hear that your new game is running on RISC architecture.
We're going to just do terrible things to it.
It's a 36K modem.
Dude,
just
that laptop they show is awesome.
That laptop's like $20 in today's real money. The copper inside of it's worth more than that laptop is now. But yeah, an announcement, actually, because they're not even saying this is the official trailer. It's the reveal trailer.
It's the official reveal trailer. It's going to reveal.
We've officially jumped the shark at this point as far as this shit goes. I know that you want to build up hype, but fuck me. Build the train before you launch it from the fucking station.
Dude, we're in the train already. You can't say shit like that. Like...
God damn it. Yeah. That all aside, though, Star Wars Battlefront does look good. I'm pretty excited for it. I'm eager to play it. Smart Money has it placed late November, early December to coincide with the release of episode 7, which is what, the 14th of December?
Sometime in December.
Yeah.
All I know is some of my greatest moments came from that game, which also included Life is Cinema from Trek.
Greatest gaming moments or just greatest moments in general?
Are they one and the same?
Fair enough.
Game is life.
Other stuff that we're excited for, Metal Gear. Now, there's been some big hullabaloo over Konami and Hideo Kojima lately about removing logos and names and all that. But we had some
concessions.
Some resolution, I should say. But
no, that's not a resolution.
Some resolution. VideoGamer.com is reporting that Konami added back Kojima's name to some of the older Metal Gears. They originally took it off of the Metal Gear Collection, Metal Gear 3D, and Zone of the Enders HD collection, and they have since put it back on. However, note, they have not added it back to Phantom Pain or Ground Zeroes. His name still remains missing on both of those. Though, if you can take a look at the ugliest yellow highlighted possible on here, you can see how the new today's picture has Hideo Kojima game there, whereas one archive from March 30th had it taken off. So it looks like they're at least talking and trying to figure out what the hell's going on here. That's good. I mean, I don't want to see games demand made have his name completely taken off him. That's like saying, here it is. Go ahead.
I'm thinking maybe they saw his mailbox just chock full of job offers and money.
No, he's done. He's not going back to Konami, but that doesn't mean you burn a man's legacy down to the ground either. Sean, you want to weigh in on this?
I'm so sad for Silent Hills.
Well, that's the next part. Silent Hills, however, has had their links taken away. Now, as you can see here, this image is from GameSpot, and GameSpot was reporting this, that Silent Hills had their logo pulled off very recently. So it's official. Here is the old age gate to the Silent Hills website. As you can see down in the lower left, it has Kojima Productions and the Fox engine on there. But as of today, you look at the age gate and Kojima Productions has been removed. But the Fox engine is still up there, which to me shows that Konami owns the rights to the Fox engine. Because
it was built on their money.
Yep. That is not Kojima's baby. That is Konami's baby.
Well, it's his baby, but he made it with their money.
Here's my problem with this. If they go a different route. Well, what they are going a different route. Guillermo del Toro and Daryl both pretty much said that they really want to work with
Daryl from The Walking Dead, you mean Norman Reedus?
Yeah, Daryl. Okay. We all know it was
Daryl. For those watching who might not be familiar with The Walking
Sorry,
Dead.
Boondock Saints.
There we go. That's a more popular movie.
They both have came out and said they really want the reason why they did this game in the first place. Well, one of the main reasons is because they're big fans of Kojima and they really want to work together. So I can only assume this game isn't even close to being done. So I want to know how this is going to affect the people involved already, and if they're just going to pretty much scrap everything and just be like, PT was its own thing, PT being playable teaser that they did for the game.
The Gamescom trailer that came out, they went, here's this trailer for this game coming out, and people are like, what the fuck? And if you put your hand on your nose and blink the right eye 3 times and spin around in a circle, then you get the Silent Hill trailer.
Pretty much. And so I'm curious to see if they're just going to scrap it and start from the ground up, or if anything, I would like them to be like, hey, Guillermo del Toro, do you want full control of this game now, and just let him go wild with it, because he's the only other person I can really see doing well with my favorite franchise outside of Metal Gear. So
unless they
I'm really butthurt about this.
Put in some kind of other studio and then contract Kojima into it again. Cut the ties to Konami and then just
Because the word is he's a contractor now with Konami. He's no longer part of it, but he's like a freelancer they're hiring up. You're hoping that they extend his contract for Silent Hills as well.
Yeah, he's basically at this point a consultant almost. I mean, if they could potentially keep him on for this or find another way for him to work on the project.
I feel like that Kojima is the type of man that if they did, were like, if they were to come up to him and be like, "Hey, can you finish this too?" and then we'll go our separate ways, that I feel like he would at least honor that. It seems like he's the type of person that would do shit like that just for the fans, because Kojima is like one of the few people that's like, I'm gonna please the fans one way or another.
Well, he also really enjoys working on the projects.
Yeah,
so he's there for the fans, but he's also there to actually do the work, and I think he actually just enjoys that part of it.
This franchise has been his baby since what, 87? Oh shit! I just realized.
I'm talking about Silent Hills.
Are we?
What did you just realize?
Yes.
I got distracted because I also just realized there's not likely a chance of Zone of the Enders 3 coming anymore because Konami owns that.
Yeah, which is super depressing to me because that's one of the games that I've wanted for a really long time from him.
Yeah, I just got completely confused as that idea popped in my head, and I was like, "Oh shit, no!" That's a tragedy. Back to the other people working on it, though. You mentioned Norman Reedus on there, but you know who's actually fucking cursed is Guillermo del Toro, because this is not the first project he's had gone tits up since this whole thing began. Remember Insane?
Yeah, he's had a lot of video games kind of go wrong.
And I think he was also working on a video game adaptation of The Mouth of Madness back when he was trying to do the Cthulhu movie, and that went nowhere either.
That's right.
I would like to...
This is depressing.
I would like to ask him and find out if any assets from Insane were getting reused in Silent Hills, though I don't think that's a question that'll ever be answered, because I don't think Silent Hills is even going to see the light of day anymore. I'm convinced that game is now dead on arrival.
Yeah, unless they do Kojima back.
Or at the very least, not going to look anything like it did.
It's a first-person shooter action game.
Yay! That seems to be where they want to go with it. Other games that are getting delayed, or maybe not even happening, I don't even know if this is going to happen or not, is Quantum Break. You guys remember Quantum Break at all?
Quantum Break?
Yes, I do, actually.
Break down what Quantum Break was, Sean.
I don't know much about the plot, but Quantum Break was a game that was going to be Xbox. It was an Xbox exclusive?
It is an Xbox One exclusive.
It actually got... It was like a 17-minute trailer for this game, and it actually got talked more about than Halo 5 and a lot of big games coming out this year. And now it's not even coming out this year. So to me, that gives me ideas that like they're having problems with something in the game that's probably going horribly wrong. Because I know in this game, like you can control like how physics works in this game almost, if I understand correctly.
Not quite. Here,
something about time.
Yeah, let me give you the quick and the dirty from what I know about Quantum Break. Quantum Break being developed by Sam Lake and the guys at Remedy. These are the people who brought Max Payne and, more importantly, Alan Wake. This was supposed to be their next big thing. Supposed to come out late 2016. You played some kind of secret agent character infiltrating some company that was working on time travel experiments, and you can like pause time and rewind it. The details of the plot were scarce, but there was also supposed to be this TV show-esque something. They never really were clear on exactly.
Oh, like the tie-in TV series thing?
Yeah,
live action
how Defiance in the MMO was.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know that TV show no one watches and the MMO no one plays?
Hey, I have both watched that show and played that MMO.
Any good?
The MMO was kind of fun. You get to drive a car.
Good to know. So that was Remedy's big game coming out. Supposed to come out in 2016. Remedy is a solid company. Everything they've done has been a blast. I don't think I've played a bad game from them yet. But this has been delayed. Now, the logic behind it is, and this is coming from Shannon Loftus, head of publishing at Microsoft, is essentially that because they have Halo 5 Guardians, Rise of the Tomb Raider, Fable Legends, Forza Motorsport 6, all of these exclusive Xbox One titles, it made more sense to slip this back into early 2016 because it's a crowded schedule. And admittedly, it is. However, I get the feeling that an undertaking, when they're trying to even do a tie-in TV show, probably needs another year or so of work. In addition, Remedy is not known for being the fastest developer out there.
So, to give you a little... Go ahead, David.
Well, the other thing I was thinking, because if they're going for like a winter release, is the the winter catalog, not just for them but for everybody, is kind of saturated. And if they're making like a brand new game, like I feel like the winter time is usually for sequels as opposed to like different
a new
moldy
IP
games.
would definitely get swallowed up amongst the new Assassin's Creed, the new Call of Duty, the new Halo, which is one of the reasons why I think Dying Light did so well. Dying Light is a brand new IP and came out in a month nothing else did, and as such sold gangbusters.
Mm-hmm.
Sean,
like
you
if this game summer, it could do really well.
I want to give a timeline about how Remedy does games. So when Alan Wake was on, there was a picture of Alan Wake on the release of the first Xbox 360. It was like one of the preview games coming out soon. That was the last game I played on Xbox 360. So that's just to give you an idea of the time frame that they're like.
Alan Wake took a very long time to come out.
Yeah.
But yeah, in a post from Sam Lake, who is the fellow that everyone associates with Remedy, essentially says, "Hey, getting extra polished time to make Quantum Break as awesome as possible. Thanks for your patience. Early 2016. Now, that does kind of run counter to what Shannon Loftus said when she said, hey, we're just delaying it because it's a crowded quarter.
Mm.
He's like, I'm going to make my game better.
And from what I've heard, there was no official date anyways, so...
No, they just said 2016.
Yeah. No, I meant even originally, there was no,
sometime this year, it's coming out in November.
Yeah, they said it was going. They said it was supposed to be by 2015.
Yeah. So delays like that don't really bother me.
No, take your time. One thing to note too is that this TV show thing, most of these TV tie-ins Microsoft has just canceled. So I get the feeling that's going to get that we're not going to see that ever come to the light of day.
Maybe that Microsoft TV thing isn't working out for them like they wanted it to.
Yeah, I don't think any of that's going to work. Before we move on to the next topic, I will say this: Sam Lake has one of the greatest Twitter banners of all time, with him diving over one of the couches in Remedy Studios, giving the Max Payne finger guns, wearing Max Payne's outfit at that. I mean, I love the guy. Sam Lake's a hell of a card.
He's got a good name.
Sam Lake.
Sam Lake.
It's true. It's like Trent Steele.
Max Power.
Right? Max Power.
David. Right. Got it from Hairdryer.
Yeah. Oh, you want to talk about some shenanigans that you don't like?
Not quite yet, though we are going to talk about this new Fire Emblem that you seem to be excited for.
Oh, yeah, dude. So, if anyone cares, there's going to be a new Fire Emblem coming out on the 3DS.
We mentioned it a couple weeks back, and I got a copyright claim filed against me.
Yeah, that was funny. But that's when we didn't even have a title. It was just the next Fire Emblem. And now it's Fire Emblem If.
In Japan, yes. No North American name for it yet.
They'll call it If. They'll call it like If X squared Zerd 23.5 to the Century Edition.
Surge.
Sephiroth XXX.
Neptunia. Dawn of a new.
God damn,
star.
They don't know how to name games in America sometimes.
But
anyway,
go ahead.
It actually looked kind of cool. I was watching the trailer on it, which we can't show you because Nintendo doesn't like anybody, and that's a whole nother story. And it's got two storylines. So in this game, as opposed to all the other Fire Emblems, where the other Fire Emblems you could, at least in the most recent one, you could make a character that played alongside the main characters of the Fire Emblem series.
Yeah, you were
just kind of there in the game, but not really part of the game. Whereas this new one, your created character is the main character.
Yes, that is definitely new for Fire Emblem.
Your character, which makes it kind of interesting in that the storyline is supposed to branch, and that there's two warring kingdoms, and you're the son of both kingdoms or daughter or whatever. And then
it's Romeo and Juliet.
Lengths of the game, you kind of bounce back and forth between sides and make a decision as to who you're going to fight for. And it looks like it's going to be pretty interesting.
From what I'm seeing, we've got some weird echo going on. Does anyone else hear that?
That's David's mic.
It's your face.
Wow.
Wow.
Stop that. Stop it. Stop. No. Bad. Okay, it does sound like it's been fixed, though. From what I'm understanding is that they are actually going to sell this game in 2 separate cartridges.
That's
with
dumb.
One story being technically easier. It's like you pick this one kingdom and they're easier. And on the other cartridge, you can buy that cartridge, and it's a harder game with a completely different story. It's like you have the advanced version and the beginner version, 2 completely different stories, both revolving around the same world. Because, like in the first act, apparently you have to make a choice.
No, I like the idea of me buying a game, and then I get to make a choice in the storyline of that game, and I play through with my choice, and then I'm like, that's cool, and then I play New Game Plus, and I make the other choice. That's what I want.
Yes, I don't want to have to buy 2 separate games to get the full story. Now, from what
Yeah, I
I'm
don't
hearing...
Oh, you don't? So, StarCraft?
No, that's separate because those are actually full-on expansion packs. This is the same goddamn game. In fact, the first 25% of it is identical on both of them.
Also, I feel like a lot of games where you have the only difference is storyline, it means you're going to play on like the exact same maps. But if you pick the good guys, you're on this side. If you pick the bad guys, you're on this side. And your units are different, but it's the same fucking thing.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to deal with that. But from what I hear is that if you buy like the digital version of it, let's say you put $40 down on the digital version, you can spend 20 to get the opposing campaign.
That's still
depends on how long they are. If they're like really long, it may be.
I guess if it's a full-fledged game, like if it's the same length as Awakening was, like each one on its own is that much in like unique content, not including the stuff that's exactly the same in each game. But if there's all of that in addition, I can see it.
I get what you're saying. It's really convoluted. It's really stupid sounding.
From what I was really originally excited about is hearing the way that story was pitched to me from that trailer. It made it a lot more interesting than hearing, oh, by the way, this is actually 2 games. This isn't you get to play a game and then make a choice and then play through that game. This is you make the choice when you buy it. You don't get to play through the game and then make that decision. This is just what you get.
Well, this isn't the first time Nintendo's done stuff like that. I mean, you have all the Pokemon games aside when they release like White and Black or Red and Green, whatever. Remember?
Yeah, but at least with that, I know what the legendaries are before I buy it.
Yes, exactly. But remember the Zelda game on the Game Boy, the Oracle of Ages, Oracle of Seasons.
Those games played. I was actually thinking about that, but I was like, I'm a fan of both those games. I played the shit out of both of them because they were different enough.
Yeah, I mean, it's same idea. And if you finish one and it detects the save file in the other one, then it unlocked Ganon as the final boss or something like that. I can't quite remember what they synced up at the end if you beat one like the other knew.
Yeah, do that again, Nintendo.
Yeah,
make some kind of syncy, savey, fucking shenanigans.
They just do weird shit.
Make it worth my Skrilla, and I'll give it to you.
And then get away with it.
One more thing before I get on to that, how they get away with shit thing, is that Edmund McMullen, the guy who made Super Meat Boy and Binding of Isaac, tweeted out that, hey, it's finally coming for sure to the Wii U, the new 3DS, and the Xbox One. In fact, here's a picture of him playing Binding of Isaac on the 3DS. I swear to God, if I get a takedown notice for showing someone's fucking Vine on his own personal Twitter, I'm going to be pissed off. But it's coming, so other systems than the PlayStation 4 or PS3, if you're an Isaac fan. I think I'm the only one that's a fan of Binding of Isaac.
I like Isaac.
You like Isaac?
I already own Rebirth on Steam.
Yeah, and they have the Afterbirth expansion coming up as well.
Okay.
All right.
Do work.
That could be cool, though, because that is a good game to kill time with.
It makes sense on portables.
Yeah, although it'd be kind of weird to play that game with the sound on in public somewhere. Just with the crying and weird.
Awesome soundtrack, but damn,
noises.
Yeah.
It might be a little weird.
Yeah, that can definitely get kind of odd. I don't know how to approach this topic.
Nintendo sucks.
Yeah, do you guys know the Angry Joe Show?
Angry Joe is angry.
He's a YouTube star, think like Total Biscuit, PewDiePie, and all that, and he does Let's Plays and commentary.
But he's all mad.
Yeah, kind of like what we do, only good.
Oh, yeah. Because I'm not that mad.
He did a Let's Play of Mario Party 10, where it was him and a couple friends, and he bought a Wii U to do it, and Mario Party 10, and 4 big controllers, and they got together and they played this game live, and he put it up on YouTube. And, well, Nintendo said, nope, it's ours. Not just... Okay, I've seen the screen before. This is similar to what we get right here. And this is a tweet from Joe Vargas from the Angry Joe Show talking about, hey, they laid a claim on his video. And normally you would click on a button that says click here to play match content, and it'll take you right to the video that shows, hey, this is the part they're talking about. Nope, they claimed the entire 30-minute video. Not from sound or not from... normally it's sound that gets you. But Nintendo was just straight up, nope, this is all ours. We don't care if you're commenting over it or not, despite that falling under the Free Use Act. it is, or falling under for use, I should say, because it is for use. They just went, here you go. And rather than fight it, because he easily could and would win that fight, he just said, fuck it, I am done covering Nintendo games. It's not worth the hassle. I dropped $900 on you guys, and you're fucking still going to try to take 40% of my creation on top of what YouTube takes, on top of what my YouTube network takes.
Well, you remember a while back when we talked about when Nintendo put that policy in place for the YouTubers and all the review, and we talked about how stupid it was then that they wanted to get an additional cut as a, with all the YouTube cuts and all the other revenue cuts that the YouTubers would get.
40%.
When there's a lot of people that want to just play games and just stream them, and it's
there was a big backlash.
Weird that there were there's this huge falling out, and then no one really did anything about it, and it just kind of continued, and then to have it resurface is interesting.
And Sean,
we'll see if it actually gets more traction this time.
You hinted at this
earlier, give a fuck.
Sean, that Nintendo can get away with shit no one else can.
Dude, it's ridiculous on how much shit they get away with that we just rag on other companies for.
If this was EA, fucking YouTube would be on fire right now.
Yeah.
People would be burning down stores. Nintendo ran out of digital copies of Earthbound on their last Nintendo Club thing to sell that. How the fuck do you run out of a digital copy? Exactly. If it was EA, people would be burning Nintendo down, rightfully so. But it's fucking Nintendo, and they
check it out. We didn't make enough lines of code for you to download Earthbound, so you get to play Marsbound, which is this freemium game where you collect cats and give them hats.
I know Capcom owns Monster Hunter, right?
Capcom does own Monster Hunter.
Does own Monster Hunter.
But does Nintendo? I mean, Nintendo owns like the rights to the console, like the part of it or whatever. Do they back them in any ways, or just Capcom?
No, that's all Capcom.
Capcom.
Okay.
And Nintendo gave them fat stacks of money so that Monster Hunter would stay exclusive to Nintendo for a bit, though.
All right.
The
rant I would have said is irrelevant.
Okay, then. This is another example of Nintendo being stuck in a dying age. They can't pull their head out of their asses and embrace new technologies. And I can roughly say the same thing about the entire Japanese gaming market at this point.
You're aware of the fact that Nintendo originally made Plinko machines, right? Like, I don't think they've always known what they were doing.
I was going to actually bring up the fact that, like, if Squaresoft did this, like, how much, like, the same thing with EA, but if Squaresoft would have done this since they're a Japanese company as well, like, we would throw them under the bus so fucking hard.
Yeah, it's because it's Nintendo. But the point that I'm trying to drive is the fact that in a world where you're having publishers like Devolver or Paradox Software going, here, fucking stream our game all you want to. We don't care if it's in beta or not. We don't care if it's in early access. Fucking get the name out there. Nintendo just refuses to step into the modern age and realize that video is where everything is going.
Embrace that shit. Blizzard actually gives out beta keys to, like, so if you're a streamer and you stream Blizzard games like World of Warcraft or Diablo or anything like that, and you're pretty big, they will actually give you beta keys to the new game to hand out in your stream.
Yeah, there's all
doesn't
kinds of
EA and
promotions
Ubisoft like send YouTubers copies of games and pay them to review them?
Kind of. There was a bit of
which is like the exact opposite of what this is.
I don't know what the controversy. There was a controversy about YouTubers getting paid to play games on their without disclosing. That's the big thing, is they wouldn't disclose it. They go, "Hey, look at this new game. Look how fun I am having," without saying, "Hey, EA paid me to play this," which ties into the whole YouTuber versus traditional games media ethic thing I really don't want to wade into, because that's just asking to cut both your arms off and have you beaten bloody by both sides.
Well, like if Nintendo sends like a review company a copy of a game to review and post on their website, does the website have to pay Nintendo to play it?
No. Well, here's the thing. You have to get permission from Nintendo before you do it. And Nintendo will usually get permission to the bigger sites. Hey, you can show this much. You're starting to get into like the behind the scenes of like the game journalism and the way they work with publishers. Usually what will happen is they'll be sent an embargo list. This is what you can show. This is what you can't. You can't play past Mission 5 until June 10th, in which case then you can go up to Mission 7. These things are very, very detailed in what you can and can't do. And if you break it, you run the risk of not getting future copies anymore, getting them last minute, ruining professional ties with them. These things can be very, very detailed. Whereas some place like Volition, for example, you have the awesome PR rep, Aubrey Norris, will just send out an email saying, fuck it, don't do this. If you do this, I'll cut your balls off. And that's almost a quote from one of her press releases, by the way.
French Revolution in your pants.
We brought it back.
Traditionally, the larger the company, the more techno-babble is thrown in these things. And Nintendo is a very, very large company.
This happens to every media, where it's happening. Music happened first with Napster, and then movies with like Netflix and stuff like that. But it happens with every media, and it's hitting games now, where when something gets big and like it's getting streamed and you're getting like this free ad revenue, and you don't have to buy the game to experience it. Because with music, it was like, cool, I don't have to buy this music to experience with Napster. Metallica was like, blah blah blah, freaked out, and then eventually bands like Nine Inch Nails were like, it's free ad revenue. We make our money going live anyways, so film the fuck out of us because now people want to come see us. Movies wasn't quite like that, but like games is kind of the same way with the music industry, which in a few years it's going to get to the point where Nintendo just can't stop it, and they're just going to be like, okay, we have to adjust.
Well, it's the difference between a company refusing to embrace technology and a company going full bore into it. Like, once again, back to the music, you have Metallica, who's like, oh my god, downloading songs is evil. And yeah, it sucks to not fucking get paid for your work. But then you have Nine Inch Nails and the fucking genius that is Trent Reznor when it comes to this shit, who looked at it and went, you know what? I know a way to make a shit ton of money off of this.
Yeah.
And did. So, like anything, it's like going fucking back to the horse and buggy whip days. People are like, oh my god, this newfangled automobile is gonna drive us a whole lot of business. And you know what? If you didn't adapt, it fucking did. That said, Nintendo is big enough to where they don't need YouTube at the moment. At the moment.
They can just shrug it off.
Exactly. One day they might, but right now, they don't fucking need Angry Joe. And Angry Joe doesn't need them. And Total Biscuit doesn't need them. And Jim Sterling
doesn't need them. They don't even make enough amiibos for people to buy. People are still buying that shit up.
Well, I can go off on the artificial demand Nintendo creates on their own shit as well, too. Back to the Earthbound thing, or the Wii U thing, or the Amiibo thing. It's a good
the fact that they never make enough of anything they've ever made.
Well, they do, and they do it on purpose. Like it
makes strategy.
I can argue both sides of it. For example, with the Wii U thing, 9 months those things were fucking sold out. So if you saw one, you went, oh shit, I need to buy it right now. 8 months after it came out. No, you didn't. Congratulations. A lot of people did.
Saw it and I was like, oh, that's that thing that I haven't heard shit about because no one fucking owns one, so why would I buy it?
I bought a Wii U for one game and it was fun.
You have a Wii U?
Oh, Wii. I not Wii U, sorry, Wii, when the Wii first came out.
Yeah, we got that. We used that Wii for more than one game. I'm not gonna lie.
But if I said Wii U, I apologize. I meant Wii when they were talking about artificial shortages, because the Wii U no one cares about still.
Oh, that's what I was talking about.
Oh, yeah, the Wii, I mean, yeah. You said Wii U, but the Wii,
I realized I did. I apologize. I meant the Wii originally.
You gotta have a Wii so you could air punch your friends.
And play Metroid.
That's why I wanted it.
Air punch your friends.
Completely different topic. OnLive. OnLive is done. Now...
That's rough.
David, why don't you go ahead and tell us what OnLive was.
Okay, so OnLive was something that was really cool to me a few years ago because I have consistently had a shitty computer for a really long time. Like most of my life, I just never had a computer that could play games. And OnLive was a service that was considered a game streaming service where you could actually play high-quality AAA titles on your shitty computer because the games are actually run on their servers.
Yeah,
and instead of you actually playing the game, you're a monitor, and you're playing the game over the internet. You're just streaming it to your system and still able to play it and everything. And the cool thing is you're actually able to do this without lag. It wasn't this, oh, I'm playing online. If I don't have a good internet connection, I'm suddenly not playing the game. Like it worked phenomenal. And it had this whole community. You could actually subscribe to the service because they just kept releasing games. Every single game on the service had an hour-long demo. Like you could just launch the game, play for an hour, whatever you get to. It doesn't matter. And you could subscribe to it and just play all the games you wanted to, or you could buy games individually and you just keep them forever. And that's in your product list, and you can jump into it. There was also a media center where you could actually jump into there and look at a list of all the different games that people were playing and just hop in at any point and be a spectator for anybody else that's playing that game. Kind of like the way the
Steam broadcasting works.
Steam broadcast is doing now, but it's something that OnLive did 3 years ago, and it was for every single person, and it was presented in just this huge grid of nothing but people playing different games, and you could just jump around, jump into one, watch it, talk to people, jump back out, go to a different game, and it was really cool.
OnLive's problem was never its technology. Its problem was its marketing and messaging.
Okay,
It had no saturation.
Yeah.
Am I a terrible person for not even knowing about this until I read the show notes?
That's thus back to my point. It wasn't the technology; it was the marketing and messaging.
I actively play games pretty often, and I had no clue what the fuck this thing was.
Yeah, but well, no one did, and that was the problem because online is no longer existing anymore. PlayStation's eating, or Sony rather, is eating up what's left of OnLive, much like they did with Gaikai or Gaikai.
Well, no. Here's the crazy thing: is they bought Gaikai what, a year and a half ago, and Gaikai was another game streaming service, but not in the States.
Yeah, it was.
That offered a very similar service to what OnLive did, and Sony is buying not even all of OnLive; they're buying parts of it. I guess parts of the architecture.
They're buying like their hardware.
Yeah, and they're just killing the server.
Yep, OnLive.
Like they're buying. We want this part of your program, and you're done. Goodbye. Go fuck yourself.
And here's what really sucks for people who had OnLive is that where is it? I bought here's under the facts. I bought a PC-only Steam game under the assumption I could play it via online on my Mac. Can I get a refund? Unfortunately, no refunds are available for Steam games purchased OnLive, meaning that because with the Mac thing, you can play Windows games on your Mac because it wasn't running on your computer; it was running on a computer somewhere else. So, congratulations, you're stuck with a shit ton of stuff that you can't play anymore.
Well, also keep in mind that anything you bought that wasn't on Steam, because originally when it launched, you were just buying stuff that would be in your cloud. It's like in your list of games that you own that if you have an OnLive connection, you could play from wherever the fuck, which was also pretty cool.
Yep.
That stuff's just gone.
Oh, yeah, it's done.
Anything you bought in this service is done. The only thing that happens is if you bought something that had a Steam key attached to it and you redeemed it on Steam, you still own a Steam game.
Yes. This shows the dangers of games as a service rather than physically owning your game where you buy the license to it, which is essentially what Steam and Origin and Uplay all is. You don't own the game. You own the license to the game.
But this, I mean, we've heard of random things getting shut down before, but I feel like nothing has hit this many people or this much in money. Because if you think of all the games that people that have the online service have bought, because it's been out for a few years. And I mean, I understand that, Sean, you've never heard of it, but I've heard about this years ago. And I mean, I probably actually have a couple OnLive games floating around in an account somewhere. Since I actually built a computer, you know, I haven't used it as much, but I used to be able to play like Tomb Raider. Well, not even Tomb Raider. What did I play? Just games on a netbook that shouldn't be able to run it for any stretch of the imagination, and I can still pull it off.
Just log on to OnLive servers, and there you go. Sean,
it's one of those things that I'm happy. I'm sad that I didn't know about it, but I'm happy I didn't because I probably would have bought games on it, and this would have happened. I would have been pissed.
Well, imagine if, not that this is going to happen anytime soon, but imagine if Steam just went, we're done.
I was thinking about that too. Yeah.
I literally have probably close to tens of thousands of dollars of Steam games.
And it kind of bothers me in a way about that too, because it's actually kind of, you can't find physical copies of some of these games, and we're kind of just trusting companies. I mean, sorry, I don't.
He's dying.
You know, Valve is probably never going to shut down in any stretch of the imagination. But like, I could be in my 40s and be like, you know what, I want to play the Steam game. Oh shit, Steam shut down like today.
Yeah, shit's rough. Condolences to anyone who bought anything from OnLive and to the people who worked at OnLive, because these people are fucking losing their jobs too. But
it's also rough because it's such short notice, because they just decided, hey, we're buying this
today, and in 30 days. You got 30 days to get it in.
As of April 30th, OnLive is gone. Anything you have on OnLive is gone.
Whatever they bought's getting folded into PlayStation Now, which is essentially PlayStation's version of OnLive. I'm not too impressed with it yet, though I can see good things coming from that.
It's already way more money.
Speaking of PlayStation, how many of you guys remember Home?
Dude, I remember that. That was that game-esque thing where you got an avatar, right? And you logged in like a shopping mall with your friends, except for they weren't actually your friends because you didn't know any fucking person there because they're all 13. And then you'd go play pool in some weird virtual pool hall for like 8 minutes before giving up.
You okay there, David? You're kind of trailing off there, getting a little nostalgic for it.
I'm getting a little creeped out.
Home was essentially PlayStation's answer to Second Life, and it never took off. Not only did it never took off, it was announced. It started December 11th, 2008, and never left beta.
Sweet.
Ever. Never officially released. However, it made
that's
money.
a 7-year beta.
Yeah, apparently it made money. Home, people were making money off of it, which is why it even lasted 7 years. I don't know from what. People were like, it was just a troll's paradise, from what I understand.
And hats. You could buy clothing so your avatar would look like game characters, and then everyone could have an apartment, right? Everyone had their own apartment. Everybody that signed into PlayStation, you had your own sweet apartment with a lakeside view.
I just remember they had all these...
buy like castles, and you could buy, like, I remember distinctly getting the Batman hideout from buying Arkham Asylum.
They had these great plans for Home, and it just never, like, nothing ever came from it. It's to this day, I don't know what they were thinking. And
there was a really cool tank game you could play, I rember.
Oh yeah, it was
like the actual game that you could play while you're in the service.
Yeah, it was like a carnival game almost.
No, there was an actual game where you drove around as a tank shooting aliens.
We have someone in chat saying, Life of Cinema saying he bought all the Star Wars swag from it. So, I mean, it made money. People were making money off of it, which is why it lasted so long. I just don't get the purpose of Home. I still, to this day, don't get what they were thinking about. And because that thing was like,
well, do you get
dead on arrival? I'm sorry?
Because I don't get Second Life.
No, I don't get Second
Life.
But
I assume that it's fulfilling the same thing, just for different people.
Here's the thing, though. Second Life gets supported by the company who makes Second Life. I don't know the name of it. Home came out, and so after that, Sony was just like, and we are never going to mention it again. Ever.
I mean, that's one thing to do, I guess.
It took up space on my browser on
your
PlayStation.
It took up PlayStation 3 memory. But yeah.
Yeah.
Home officially shut its doors on March 31st, 2015. So it's done. It's over. It's gone.
Also, why did it have to end like a couple days ago? I can't log in one more time and wave to somebody.
To be fair, I think they announced it back in December that it was closing, so you had plenty of time to get in there if you cared.
I did not have plenty of time.
But you did not
barely
care.
Enough time.
4 months isn't enough time. The only thing I remember coming out of Home ever was the reports of like trolling. Where like someone would hop on and it would be like a female avatar, and then all of a sudden she would just get like dude broed by like 50 guys who were just like dancing up against her, and then she would log out.
That's awesome.
No, because there was an actual counter troll thing that was created in that. I remember reading this shit where people would roll two characters, and one would be like a girl character, and they'd go in the square, and they'd wait for all the dudes to like grind on her or do whatever and start throwing weird messages in their inbox. And then they'd switch characters to like this little freak troll thing.
Oh, there was a name for it.
Yes, that was totally a thing.
Oh, what was the name for it?
I don't know what the fuck that's called. That's
awesome.
hilarious.
It was called like Dusting or Dusty or
yeah,
Splanting or something. There was an actual name for it.
That sounds good. Let's go with Splanting.
Hack the planet.
Hack the planet.
Hack the planet. Also, Life of Cinema, that is a good point. They actually added the folding and home features into PlayStation Home. So while you're in there, you were helping cancer research.
That's true. Folding and home is actually really cool. I'm somewhat disappointed PlayStation 4 doesn't have something similar. Moving on to the next topic. I love Good Old Games, and Good Old Games has an awesome idea. Unfortunately, I just don't think it's going to work out for him. Essentially, if you have an old disc-based media game, say a copy of System Shock 2, which I have sitting in my bookshelf, you can take the CD key out of that, enter it in Good Old Games, and have it go, okay, you own the digital version of this. But there are some caveats to that, and the fact that you only have select titles with it. And right now, it's only 6 titles, 3 of them being Stalker games.
Damn it. Dude, I really want them to add Blue Shift, because I still have my Blue Shift CD case with the CD key on it, and I have no fucking clue where that disc is. I lost it like 3 years ago.
You should see some of the CD keys Steven and I have laying around.
I have the old
StarCraft.
That's a really cool idea, though. I like
System
that.
Shock 2, all the StarCrafts, all the Warcrafts.
Those guys that just own super old-ass like PC CD-ROM games that came in those big ass cases. Just redeem your key on GOG, and
I've got the.
does it give you
Yeah,
Steam
man.
keys, or does it just give you like DRM-free downloads from their site?
whatever it's for. So I would imagine, in the case of Good Old Games, probably a Good Old Game download because their stuff is completely DRM free for the most
That's
part.
awesome because all of their downloads are like optimized to actually work on current systems, whereas you have plenty of old games that you plug into a computer and it's gonna say, "What the fuck is this? I don't even know how to read it."
Love that site. I love CD Projekt Red as well. I think they're owned by the same people. Like one owns the other or something like that.
I use that place to buy Planescape Torment.
Yeah, they have the Atari D&D collection there that comes with Torrent, Baldur's Gate 1 and 2 on their Temple of Elemental. That's a good thing. But yeah, all their stuff is always DRM free. They just give you an executable file that you download and take wherever you want to. I love that site, and this is a good idea, which means it's probably not going to get fleshed out.
As much stuff as possible, like whatever they can get their hands on and they can keep doing, and just we'll keep talking about it.
Bloodshed 702 says, shout out to StarCraft, the best fucking game in the world. I wouldn't necessarily go that far, but it is a great game.
I hear Bloodshed's terrible at League of Legends.
Oh, does he suck at League of Legends?
Yeah.
Okay, clearly someone we know. Or just some poor random bastard in chat we're just gaining up on. In which case, sorry.
I'm just next time someone random comes in, I'm just gonna do that, and we're just gonna go off on him because you guys are going to think I know him.
I just assume everybody's bad at League of Legends.
Speaking of issues of trust and deception, if you're playing GTA Online, be wary of people giving away free cars. That is not the ticker I want. I don't have the ticker I want. I'm just going to shut this down because it's a news story. Forget it. Don't pay attention to the ticker down there. But
everybody pay attention to the ticker. That's the most important part of the show. Look at that.
Essentially, there was a glitch to where you can dupe in this super rare car into GTA Online from the single player story, and people were using it to get the super rare online car, and Rockstar patched it out. But rather than just patching it out, they made it to where if you entered in the duped car, it blows up and just murders you.
Good.
In a video from XCoinWolf
Car bombed their players.
YouTube video from XCoinWolf X. I'm going to go ahead and bring that up right here. Super cheesy way of doing it. This is not the YouTube thing. It has rolled off to something else, so I'm just going to close this right
Let me just say, this is like this is such a Rockstar move to do in a Rockstar game. To blow up cars in a game.
Give me 1 second and I'll pull up the right site here.
Are those dudes cosplaying? Is that what I'm seeing right now in the YouTube clip?
Apparently the clip decided to keep running when I had it off of there, so who knows.
Dude, so YouTube just started playing any video that it found related, and you were just on this weird YouTube trip.
It was like people cosplaying in front of a green screen, dude. I was down to watch that.
I'm not even going to bother with finding it at this point, but if you want to see it, look up the user XCoinWolfX, and you can find video.
Look.
Yep, sorry. You can find video of where he summons the car through this dupe glitch and then goes to other people saying, "Hey, join my game. I'll give you this free car." And they're like, "Okay." And they go walking into the car, and the second they start the car, it just blows up and murders them.
No, it's like when you open the door.
Man.
Like you open the door, and as soon as your character sits down, it just blows up. It's so good. Although, if we're talking about GTA, can we talk about the divine shenanigans?
We can talk about whatever you want, David. It's a conversational podcast.
PC GTA 5 trailer, because that game is finally coming out on computers.
Oh, it looks good in 60 frames a second.
Can we talk about that?
And it might be the third time I buy this game.
I need to upgrade my computer so I can play this game in 4K.
Oh, I totally can do that. So that's why I'm probably going to buy it on computers.
Plus, we just need to roll deep. We need to get everybody involved. Everybody who's watching this thing, go get this game when it comes out.
Forewarning to people who do want to play it in 4K. 4K monitors, you can only go up to 60 hertz max, and that's going to be an expensive monitor. You're not going to be able to get 144 frames on a 4K monitor. So, just letting you all know.
Moving on to new releases this week, and this is where the ticker fucked up because I realized I didn't actually make the rest of the tickers, so I don't have them for new releases or esports. So
we were tickerless.
Sorry, you weren't paying attention to the show anyways. But next week's new releases, we have Itaran Mystery Dungeon on the 3DS, Xenoblade Chronicles on 3D on the DS. If you have an old 3DS, don't buy it. It's not going to work. Stealth Inc. 2, a game of clones on PS4, Wii U, Xbox One, PC, PS3, and Vita. That's the sequel to Stealth Inc. Clone of the Dark, I believe. Cute little puzzle platformer. Fun. I don't know what it's costing right now. And also Dark Souls 2, Scholar of the First Sin. This is essentially the Game of the Year edition of Dark Souls 2 with new expansion content. And also releasing on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One for the first time, as well as
Praise the sun.
Visa. Or Xbox 360, rather, not
Praise
Vita.
the sun. Dude, I can't praise the sun properly with my camera. I need to, like, zoom out and then praise it and then take it back down. I should just get a sunbro and keep them on my desk and show it to you. This is a little tiny sunbro. This is the sun.
We're running a tad late, so we're going to go ahead and just gloss over new releases and get right into esports. Now, Sean, before you talk about the LCK playoffs, I do want to mention real quick some amateur hour shit that happened at the at NCR over the weekend. NCR, North California Regionals, I believe, is a fighting game competition sponsored by Capcom, and they do a bunch of fighting games. Super Smash Brothers. It's not sponsored only by Capcom, but it's by one of them. Super Smash Brothers, I think, was there. But the part I want to bring up, and unfortunately I don't have the story because I'm a bad host and didn't do my due diligence and research, was that Street Fighter 4 Alpha, Ultra, Super Max, Beta, Rendition, Extreme was being played. And they were doing a tournament on it. And they got, from what I hear, like I said, I didn't do my due diligence. From what I hear, they got to the final 4 people in the bracket before they realized, oh, god damn it, we're playing an old version of Street Fighter 4. So they wiped the bracket completely and forced everyone to start over again.
I like that because it's fair.
Did it have any effect on the turnout of actually who won?
I don't know. This was just a quick mention. Like I said, I didn't do my due diligence. Sorry, bad host.
Probably the good story is that it doesn't have an ending.
Exactly. It was just funny to me that they just had to
keeps coming back
wipe
for more.
The bracket and go.
If you are interested in hearing news, you're at the wrong show. You're watching Hacker Points.
If you want to talk about the Gibson, however, and how uncrackable it is, feel free to write us down below. Sean, LCK.
Okay, so for those of you who play League of Legends, LCK is the Korean pro scene, so old OGN basically. Their playoff is going to be a 4-team format rather than these 8-team or 16 formats the other regions are doing. And what they're doing is a gauntlet-style tournament. Do you guys know what a gauntlet-style tournament is?
It's when the bottom players have to knock each other up to get to the top guy. Essentially, the top guy plays one game, and everyone else has to like claw their way up to the top.
That's
pretty much.
That's where they all get together and they go and search for food and run from death, and they fight monsters.
Is that like Gauntlet shout out?
Yeah. Clearly here for Gauntlet shout
out. So basically, what a Gauntlet tournament style is. So the seasons in OGN and LPL are really long, so Gauntlet style tournament actually is pretty cool because it gives you they played 14 best of 3s in the regular season. That's a lot of games.
Well, what I like about it, to interrupt you, is the fact that it very much rewards the person who was first going into it. They only have to play one game, and I like that idea.
And that's my point, is you've played 14 best of 3s. We know who the best team in Korea is, or should be the top 2 at least. So
it gives them winning all these games, actually keep playing once you got a lock-in position.
Yes. So a Gauntlet style tournament, for those of you who don't know, basically the top 4 seeds, what happens is the 3rd and 4th seed play each other in the quarterfinals. The winner of that game plays the 2nd seed in the semis. So the 2nd seed is automatically in the semis, period, which is SKT. So 3rd and 4th seed are Jin Air and CJ Entus. They're going to play each other. Whoever wins that game goes on to play SKT. Whoever wins that game between the winner of the quarterfinals plays GE in the finals. So GE won the season in the 1st seed. They're automatically in the finals. They could not get lower than 2nd place, period. Which I think is really cool because you played 14 best of 3s.
2nd place pay on this?
You get circuit points, and yes, up to 3rd place does. Actually, up to 4th place does, I believe. But you get circuit points, which is the big thing because everyone's trying to get the worlds to get that fat cash for 1st place, which is $1 million.
Because I got this fucking mosquito flying around me. Sorry.
$1 million.
You're fine. But you play for circuit points.
So I didn't know they had a circuit either. I didn't know they worked on a circuit point system, kind of like how NASCAR does it.
Yep. So
exactly
the top the top 3 teams in the major regions go into Worlds. So these circuit points are actually very valuable. That's what everyone plays for. Like, people just don't care about the money. If they do, they play in China. Um, so that's going to start this weekend. Third and fourth seed are Jin Air and CJ Intes. The second seed is SKT, and the first seed is Jin Air. Spoiler alert, I'm pretty sure SKT is going to win, even though they're the second seed. They just really adapted the patch well, but I'll be talking about that more next week because that's actually when the games are going to take place. The first round, anyways. I don't know. I don't think the finals will happen next week, so I'll talk more about Korea when we get there. But North American
one
And
EU,
we're coming for
exciting
you.
thing
yeah.
that I do want to point out about these games is there may be good picks since this season has just been phenomenal for champs played.
You're saying
Not
that
the
you,
season,
there could be
the
a lot of
last,
variety
like,
to
week.
this one as
Just the
opposed
last-
to the same
yeah.
ones.
Yeah, like the last few weeks, man, have really opened up League of Legends to the point where out of 124 champions, like this is a ridiculous statistic. Out of 124 champions, I believe it was 118 have been played in professional play in the last 2 weeks.
Isn't it only like normally like the same 20 to 30 guys?
Yeah, 30 at most.
Also, of
So-
the like 7 people that have not been played yet in professional play, I play 5 of those characters.
You probably. But so I'm gonna go over some of the games that happened in North America, EU, and EU LCS because the playoffs are rolling. This is the first week.
And this is stuff coming out for this week. So when will these big matches be held?
These matches were held this weekend.
Okay.
So I'm going to talk about the matches that are held over the weekend, and then I'll talk about the matchups next weekend, which
Sounds
are the
good.
semis, real quick. Basically, Team Liquid beats. I'm not going to talk about like the Team Liquid, the first week games in too much detail, but I do want to update people. Team Liquid beat Counterlogic Gaming, which I called happening in a 3-0 fashion, and it did happen. Counterlogic Gaming falls hard at the end of the season, and Team Liquid just had their number. So Piglet won the trash talk match of 2015 in North America LCS. They go on to play Cloud9. That series I think is going to be awesome just because Cloud9's shot calling and Team Liquid's if Team Liquid plays at their potential, have really good mechanical players, probably the best bot lane in North America if they play up to their potential. So that would be a fun matchup. And then a game I do want to get into that actually happened was Team Impulse over Gravity because it really kind of shows you how North American LCS isn't quite up to date with the meta, and it kind of worries me. Because the meta right now, if you don't know, is very tank heavy. Like Cinder Hulk, jungle item in the jungle, is kind of broken right now. And in 4 of the games played out of a best of 5 series, Cinder Hulk was only built twice. So out of a potential 8 times it could have been built, it was only built actually once. Excuse me. So out of 8 times it could have been built, it was built once, which really worries me about North America going into like the mid-season internationals because they're just going to get handled if they don't adapt to this tank meta scene. Something like Lee Sin is played in a lot of these games. Lee Sin isn't that great anymore. Team Impulse played Vladimir, which is a current pick, but that's really the only one that comes to mind that's good. Alistair too. So they're really the only team to kind of get on track with this, which is why I think they'll actually win the tournament because they're adapting to the meta the quickest. But in the first game, they played Vladimir mid and Nautilus support, which are 2 really strong picks right now. But really, outside of that, no one really impressed me with picks and bans and their comps. Fizz was played. An assassin being played in this meta is just terrible. They actually won that game though because North America is so weak. But it's really worrying for international play about these picks and bans. But Team Impulse did beat Gravity in 4 games out of best of 5. They kind of shit on them. The second game that Gravity won was kind of just they won there early and snowballed with Fizz, which is the only way you can with them right now. But the biggest story is North America not adapting to the new meta, which is going to be tragic.
So they're just getting left behind.
Yeah,
I still believe in America.
I want to,
I have
but
to.
Team
Whatever
Impulse
happened
plays
to the
TSM
American
Don't worry
next
about
week.
the fact that we haven't even been in the World Finals in 4 years.
Ever.
Okay, Sean, what else?
Well, we
But
were in the
TSM
World
does
Finals
play,
when it was in America, and it was only American teams.
it wasn't even called Worlds. It was just called TSM 1 Finals back then.
Yeah, that's rough.
But I don't even think it was. I think it was 2 European teams back then, even to be honest. But TSM plays Team Impulse next week, which I think Team Salameda is going to get stomped because I don't think they're really good for this current meta. I don't think they can really adapt to the current meta. I think Tin Impulse, which has all these like imports from China and Korea, are going to adapt faster and actually win this tournament. I think it's a good meta for them to actually take this tournament, and I'm pretty stoked for that because I hate TSM fans.
So you're going with Team Impulse over TSM.
Team Impulse over TSM. I'm going to say my heart says Team Liquid over Cloud9, but my head says Cloud9. So I think it's going to be Cloud9 and Team Impulse in the finals, and I think Impulse will beat Cloud9. YOLO.
Right. So Fnatic versus H2K, for example, it doesn't really matter who wins that because you just think they're going to lose to whatever they bounce up against. You think that...
Well, that's European.
Ah, see, this is why I have you, because I look at these names and go, okay.
Yeah, so and on the EU side... So I've been right on every prediction except one so far, which was Gambit versus Unicorns of Love. I thought Gambit was going to beat Unicorns of Love in a shit show. I was half right. It was a shit show, but Unicorns of Love won.
I remember this last week because I was upset that someone named that advance.
Dude, okay, so they won, and I really want to talk about this matchup because at least these teams have a good concept of the current meta. They play Kog'Maw, they played Urgot, Nautilus, like pretty much anywhere on the fucking map. All these tanky champs, Cho'Gath mid, Hikarum top, like just these awesome picks. And this is like game 4. If you guys want to look at the matchup for game 4, Unicorns of Love with Shaco jungle.
Ooh.
Now, for those of you who play League of Legends, Shaco was like one of the worst champions in the game to play in 5v5, if not the worst to play in 5v5. Just because he's underpowered, he is really easy to shut down just through communication alone, like not even skill. If you can just talk about where he's at, you shit on him. So Shaco jungle went 2-0 and 6, and like really started snowballing this game. Sorry about that. My allergies are pretty terrible out here.
It's Pollen Storm 2015, I hear.
Dude, it's terrible. But it's just showing that Shaco can win in a game in this meta right now is actually pretty funny, especially since the meta should shit on him, but it just shows how flexible picks are. So that it's really exciting from like a spectator's point of view now, because you don't know what you're going to get in any game now. It's just like fucking like, because most games you can be like,
it doesn't feel stagnant.
Exactly. Most games, like if they first picked a champion, you can be like, they're gonna pick this, this, and this. At least if you watch a lot, like I do, I can be like, based on that one champion, I know what the other picks are going to be because of
both teams almost
play style, composition by the teams and stuff like that. So you can pretty much fill in the blanks and the rest there. But now it's just like he picked Morgana. Where the fuck is that going to go? It could go mid, it could go top, it could go support. Nautilus is a fucking awesome champ right now. So it's really cool to watch League of Legends right now, especially for getting into it, because it's going to blow your fucking mind. Unicorns of Love beat Gambit in a shit show this weekend, and that was the one I really wanted to bring up because the Shaco pick.
So you think they're going to come out on top this match? This upcoming one? No.
No. So
this was a one-time thing, huh?
Yes,
Unicorns only love so much.
Well, the 1 and 2 seeds get biased. So they didn't play last week, and now the teams that won last week are playing them. So H2K played Copenhagen Wolves, which H2K shit on 3-0, which I also called. So this week's matchups in Europe are SK Gaming versus Unicorns of Love. SK Gaming should absolutely shit on this team. I was talking about Europe and how only the top 3 seeds were good to begin with. So Unicorns of Love snuck by. And they're going to play the number 1 seed, and SK Gaming, it should just dominate this match. If they lose a game, it's going to be shocking to me, to be honest. And then Fnatic plays H2K, which is probably going to be the best matchup in EU, period. Even if the finals happen with SK Gaming, I just think this is the best matchup. H2K versus Fnatic. Ryu, known as that other Zed against the Faker. I brought that up last week.
You mentioned that last week.
Yes, he has a resurgence with H2K. They're playing extremely well. It's going to be a really this. I kind of hinted at this match, and I really want to see it because this match is going to be the bloodiest match probably in any of the semifinal matches of.
This is what you would like to see be the finals.
Dude, yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun because there's just going to be kills left and right. It's not going to be boring. There's not a lot of rotation. Like, this game there's going to be zero finesse in this game. It's going to be 2 people, like, bravehearting each other, just, like, running at you with, like, blue makeup on their face and just dying left and right.
So who's going to come out on top on that?
Oh shit.
And give me a spread.
I'm going to say. I'm going to say Fnatic in 5.
I
Fnatic
disagree.
on game 5.
I am going to say Fnatic in 5 only behind the experience of Yellow Star, their support. He's probably the best support in the West and has been for the last 3 years. He's won more LCS splits than any other person. So I really feel like he's good for like one game by himself. I feel like he can hard carry one game, and I think that gives them the edge, to be
As a
honest.
guy who pays less attention with less empirical evidence, I say Sean is going to be wrong, and it's going to be exciting.
Why?
Because
Back it up.
I'm just
It's a
gonna
best of
drink beer.
5, and I said it's going to go to game 5, so that's pretty exciting, homie.
The loser drinks beer. The winner drinks beer. The loser doesn't get beer. I don't know.
David's officially done. I think that's time to wrap things up, unless you had anything else you wanted to add in there, Sean.
I have SK beating whoever wins that game. In
So
the
whoever
finals.
wins between Fnatic and HTK, you have SK winning that?
Yeah,
that one I won't fight you on too much.
Yeah.
Well, this has been an interesting show.
It's been a show.
Has it?
You've been watching it.
This is the Game
Congratulations.
Points. Thanks for watching. If you're watching live in chat, and thanks for typing in there. We try to get to you when we can. If you're watching on YouTube, feel free to leave a comment down and below. You can tweet us
We'll
at
read it.
GamePoints PC. David, what did we say about interrupting me when I give my ending spiel? That's a bad David.
Don't give a fuck.
You're kind of drunk, and that's not necessarily a good thing. So you can tweet at the show at GamePointsPC. You can email us at GamePointsPC@gmail.com if you have any questions, comments, concerns, or anything else you want to go ahead and run in there. Saved by Christ is giving out a woot woot, so go Saved by Christ. You can like us on Facebook at Facebook at GamePoints Podcast. You can follow us individually. I am, again, your host, Stephen Brown. You can follow me at CapitalistPig21. You can follow our esports commentator down there, Sean Brown, at the Disco_King. And you can follow David Smith at Palshife Satori. He has technically sent out 2 tweets last time I checked. Once again, thank you all for joining Game Points. It's been a blast. We're here every Monday at 8 p.m. Pacific on Twitch. And hope to see you again next week. We're out of here.